Hello, viewers. Welcome to this English news edition. Here are the top stories. Opening of the second ordinary session of 2023 at the National Assembly. And on the regional scene in Libya, first commercial flight to Italy in 10 years. Those were the headlines. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. On today, Sunday, October 1st, the National Assembly opened its second regular session, the night legislative sessions of the year 2023, which was devoted to discussing the general budget of the state. This was headed by the President of the National Assembly, Mr. Dileita Mohammed Dileita, in the presence of the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamel Mohammed, member of the government and the National Assembly, ambassador of brotherly and friendly countries, and a representative of international organization operating in the country. On this occasion, the Prime Minister delivered a speech in which he discussed the broad outline of the general budget. The state aims to advance the country and achieve comprehensive development affecting various files. The opening of the second regular session for the first time in this legislative comes about 7 months later from the legislative election last February. The President of the National Assembly, Mr. Dileita Mohammed Dileita, delivered a speech in which he welcomed the Prime Minister, government members, representative, and guests, and participated in this session. In his speech, the President of the National Assembly expressed express about the importance of this budget process and encourage the MPs to carefully examine the government's budget.
Before starting my speech, I would first like to share you my thoughts on earthquakes from last Thursday. Mr. Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, 2 days ago, the Djibouti was hit by a moderate earthquake measuring 4.5 on the Richter scale. It was odd that we were awakened from our sleep before dawn. Since then, several aftershocks, some more felt than others, have kept us between worry and alarm. It is reliving our memory Diagnosis of disaster for our brothers and sisters in Morocco and Libya have recently been experienced. We extend our feelings of compassion and our most sincere condolence after the fear and instinctive panic that accompanies such natural phenomena. These trials of life increasingly require singular attention, especially in the era of environmental crisis and climate risks that anarch human development poses on the planet. It seems that we need to emphasize as much as possible the effects of national efforts to prevent and overcome the consequences of ecological disasters. In the same spirit, we call on the executive to actively engage in raising awareness among our citizens about the issues of climate change, following the example of the last African Climate Summit in Nairobi, placed under the sign of awareness of a greater responsibility of major polluting countries in the world. Mr. Prime Minister, honorable deputies, distinguished guests, to return to the issues in the beginning of the plenary of this Sunday, October 1, in the opening of the session of the second ordinary session for the first time in the ninth legislature occurs almost 7 months after the legislative elections last February. During the election campaign, we spared two efforts. The other games during the elections were long moments of reunion and sharing with the people who subscribed to our ideas and adhered to our program. Inspired by the vision and ambitions of the head of state, at the heart of our respective territorial strongholds, we were able to win the hearts of voters who gave us their vote to better defend their interests and bring their concerns to the executive. It is therefore now the holder of the aspirations of our fellow citizens that we must approach the projects to come with motivation and enthusiasm to best serve up to their trust in our responsibilities.
For his part, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed delivered a speech that began with the the state budget that falls within the National Development Plan. Indeed, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed said at the end of the President's speech, the Prime Minister delivered the traditional speech in which he provide an overview of the future direction of the government policy. The Prime Minister spoke about the notable advance and upcoming projects in essential areas such as renewable energy and natural resources. Among these initiatives are notable projects in which the wind farm, hydropower, solar energy, and seawater. On the diplomatic level, the Prime Minister underlined the commitment of the Republic of Djibouti to the resolution of the conflict and the contributions of the head of state in maintaining regional and global peace. In the second part of his speech, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed he touched on the importance of the sector of communication and information technologies in the field of growth of our country. He said the telecommunication and the ICT sector will be the next big engine of our growth economic of our country. The President of the Republic insists in his message to the government on his desire to submit and stimulate the digital economic, said the Prime Minister, after having strengthened the international and institutional component based in particular of digital codes. The government wants to accelerate the digitalizations of the economy by relying on the private sector. The launch of a startup is a part of this perspective. Generally speaking, the participation of international or national private investors has the objective of increasing the national growth without increasing public debt, he said. Finally, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed noted the necessity of advancing a project and a program of zero slum. He said, ladies and gentlemen, the construction sector has today become very important for our economy. It is enough to note from the expansions of the capital or the expansions of the regional urban centers. This is added to the not forgetting about the desire of the head of the state to offer housing to all the Djiboutian citizens. By these means, the government collected the strong demand for all type of housing so that rents could be lower. As a result, they are encouraging private sectors and these are encouraging the private sectors and banks to participate in the construction programs for modest and medium-sized housing. The number of these large housing estates on the outskirts of Djibouti city will enhance and increase in the coming years. There are nearly 120,000 housing units will be completed in a few years. In this regard and in this area also the private sector's financing is important for the national economy in addition to their contribution to the satisfaction of a vital need for the population in a rapid time, conclude the Prime Minister. Other information this morning, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed shared a technical meeting on crisis management concerning the earthquake that struck Djibouti. The aim of this meeting is to take all preventive measures and inform residents in case of the situation worsens in order to take the necessary measure to facilitate and manage crisis. A number of ministers participated in this technical meeting, including the Minister of Interior, the Minister of Higher Education, and the Minister of Education, Health, and a number of other officials participated in this event. Another broader meeting will be held on the third Tuesday of October, which all departments responsible for managing crisis in the events of natural disaster, although several earthquakes have occurred in Djibouti city and the interior region since last Thursday. Fortunately, these tremors have not caused any human or material disease losses so far, thanks to the God Almighty. The Arta Geophysical Observatory of Djibouti Resources Center recorded this Sunday morning on October 1st in the morning at 6 and 24 an earthquake occurred light with a strength of 4.1 for the Richter scale in the Gulf of Tadjoura. It was determined to be superficial. The epicenter of the earthquake was determined to be 18 kilometers north Djibouti city at the depth of 7 kilometers. That is the central distance of about 19. How much it is noteworthy that since last Thursday the country has witnessed successive terms as the authorities work closely with the local seismic about expert to monitor the situation and ensure public safety. About news release, the Djiboutian government strongly condemns the suicide attack perpetrated today in Ankara in Turkey, during which a bomb explodes at the entrance to the General Directorate of the Ministry of Interior of Turkey Minister. Djibouti expressed its total solidarity with the Turkish people as well as the government of the Republic of Turkey. Our country categorically condemns this act of blind violence which target representative law and enforcement officials on duties and reaffirm our unwavering commitment to the fight against terrorism in all its forms. And this bomb attack occurred this morning in front of the entrance of a General Directorate of the Interior Ministry Security. The Turkish Interior Minister said two police officials were lightly injured in the attack perpetrated by the two terrorists, one of whom blew himself up to the other was travel by this incident. Last Thursday evening, the northern walls of Cairo witnessed the closing ceremony of the Sama International Chanting Festivals and Spiritual Music in the 16th session under the patronage of Mustafa, chairman of the Council of Ministers, and participation of sectors of the Ministry of Culture and Might. In a large crowd, the celebration witnessed a number of personalities being honored by presenting them with the festival's child, the certificate of appreciation. The Djibouti delegation participated in this international hearing of the chanting and skirt music and its 16th session. It was organized by the Hiwar Foundation for the Arts of People's Culture in cooperation with the Minister of the Tourism and general authorities to activate this event. برؤية حبيبه اللهم صل اللهم صل على محمد وآله
انشروا رحمتنا زينوا دنيا احترام بالمحبة وابتسام انشروا بين الأنهار الحمد لله رب العالمين. By the speech of the ambassador of Djibouti in Cairo, he said it is nothing that the Sama International Festival for the chanting and several and the music in its 16th session. It will be held in the period from the 22nd to the 28th for this September, and under the slogans of a message of a peace to the world, with the participation of 30 local and foreign hands. While ensuring protections the environment, the international since today, Saturday, the first flight of Mitigay International Airport in the Libyan capital, Tripoli, took off the Italian capital, Rome, after the 10 years the European Union in 2014 halted a fight about the operated by the Libyan airlines and banned them from the entering member states airspace about the war-torn North African countries was marred in intense fight. The flighting Saturday's flight to Tripoli's Mitigay airport. It was operated by the Libya base on which offer a twice weekly directed connection to the Italian capital. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.